Well, hi there. This is Jacqueline with Nickel and Dime Decor. So glad you're here. My channel is for beginning quilters. And the age-old question is, do I pick a pattern first or do I pick the fabric first? Well, there's no right or wrong answer to that. And let me tell you why. In your quilting lifetime, you will do both. There will come a time, and I'm going to show you some examples. There'll come a time when you find a piece of fabric and someone gives it to you. You buy it at an estate sale. You buy it at a garage sale. It's very good fabric. You love it. Maybe you have the funds to go to a quilt shop and you find a piece that you love. Buy it, because the opportunity will come down the line where you will find just the right pattern for that fabric. I truly believe there are fabrics for certain patterns, and I guess that's a knack you have to have. And if you don't, you can get some help. But sometimes when, like, I have a pattern, let's take this one. I knew I loved that little quilt, and it had so many possibilities. So I tore this out of a magazine. I've had it forever. Spring of 2014. And this year, a customer wanted a little small lap quilt for a graduate, high school graduate. And knowing the little person, I thought of this quilt. It was just the right quilt for her. She's an artist and she would love all the colors. So, this is a point in case of where the pattern came first. No idea what I was going to do with it. And it became this beautiful little quilt. Her favorite colors were turquoise and hot pink. So I made it my own. I changed everything about it. It had rickrack, buttons, lots of other things I didn't use, but I made it my own. Okay, there's one example. Also, when you have a pattern, I had this pattern. It's a little too modernish for me, but I knew the opportunity would come to use it in some way for somebody. You know, that's what quilting is all about, is making things for either customers or people we love. And I know a lady that when she quilts, she prays over that quilt while she's making it for that person. So this is a quilt. I didn't like the colors necessarily, but I kept it. It is April of 2015. And then I made it my own. And this is for a nephew, a young man. And I knew that that quilt for someone 32, 34 years old was perfect. He didn't think it would be anything but modern and up to date. A young man that age wouldn't have wanted a log cabin quilt. So, point in case, pattern was first. Many, many years later, the perfect quilt to be made from that pattern. Okay, now we've addressed two of them where we had the patterns first. Now let's address where we have the fabric first. This fabric I picked up at an estate sale. Beautiful, beautiful flannel. Love, love. And I had in mind a great-grandchild, but I had no pattern in my head. I just knew I loved this. Now, since I have the fabric, I went looking for patterns. And I don't go to the internet or websites very often for patterns because I have out in the garage probably 30 magazines that a lady gave me that I am slowly going through. And I tear what I want out of those and throw them away because you just can't have that big a stack. So I tear them out, and knowing that someday I'm going to be able to use them. And it doesn't take near as much room storing these as it does those magazines. So I have the fabric. Now we need a pattern. And I chose, so far, 3. I think that one. But now we have to decide, really, in a way, we have to decide how we're going to use the fabric. Is it going to be for the topping? Is it going to be for the back? This is my backing. This is what I'm going to do with it. It's my backing. And I'm going to use these colors, though. The pinks, purples, and the aqua. And it's got a farmhouse, idea. I might not use that. I don't think I have hardly many fabrics with farmhouse animals on them. But I'm going to stay with the purples and the aquas and the pinks and the white. And I have read on so many different, I value other quilters' opinion, and most of them tell you that flannel shrinks very badly. So I never pre-wash fabrics, but I'm going to. I'm going to pre-wash this. And I bet there's 4 yards here, so I have plenty for my backing. And it being flannel, it's pretty lightweight, but I want a pretty lightweight batting, or else this will be a very heavy baby quilt. So, all right, back to the patterns. This is called Twinkle. And can't you see the pinks and the aquas and the purples and everything? This would adapt real well. Okay, here is Katie's Twirl. Now, this is really the one I'm leaning to because my granddaughter's name that is having the baby, her name is Katie. So I think that is basic polka dots is this. I know you probably can't tell, you're too far away, but this is in a little pastel polka dots. And I love it. Really leaning to this one. And this one is called Baby Split Rails. And very simple. And that's another thing I want to tell you. For beginners, don't get a complicated pattern. Don't pick out a complicated. They are always, if you get one out of a magazine, and I guess at other sites, websites, they'll tell you whether it's beginner, intermediate, or expert. And I've been quilting for some years, but I still gravitate to the beginner when I want to really get it done and enjoy the process, and I don't want to use my brain that much. I go. So it will tell you, especially in magazines, it will say skill level beginner. And pick that out. Make it easy on yourself, okay? Baby split rails, Katie's twirl, and twinkle. Those are my choices. And I want to just briefly show you, this is all of my, this is my stack. This is all of my patterns that I have torn out of magazines, stapled them together. I have made maybe a fourth. I still have a long ways to go, don't I? And I know I need a good filing system. But this is a lot shorter stack than all the magazines that I would have had if I hadn't torn them out. Okay, that's it for today. I hope I was a blessing to you, and I hope you learned something. And thank you so much for watching Nickel and Dime Decor. Bye. God bless.